The background photo that you see is near downtown Lakeland, Florida. That's Lake Miro, Amira. Anyway, the scenery is beautiful. Of course, it's Florida, and the wildlife is just great. In the areas downtown, it's mostly just the birds. Now, out where I live, which is about 15 miles north of town, or dead center, we're on a 1,000-acre game reserve, I guess. It hadn't been hunted in 60 years. So we have everything from alligators to poisonous snakes to turkeys, wild turkeys that are so tame that when they get out in the road, they don't bother moving. You just have to stop and wait for them to pass. Of course, where I live, it's 50-mile-an-hour speed limit, so that helps. And we get around mostly in our golf carts. And we have, oh man, all kinds of beautiful birds, cranes, and just most of them, I don't even know what they are. But they're beautiful. And we have deer, a lot of deer. In fact, I had one come up to my front door, and I gingerly went out. I thought he was going to let me touch him, but the screen door sort of creaked, and he took off along with his herd. There was probably 15 deer there. So it's a beautiful place to live. And Lakeland is about halfway between Tampa and Orlando. It's inland far enough that I've been down here long enough to go through 4 hurricanes. But by the time they get this far inland, they typically don't do much damage. Our greatest fear is tornadoes, and one did hit about 3 miles from here and did a lot of damage, but fortunately it picked up before it got over here. If it stayed on the ground, we'd probably felt it. But that's life anywhere, isn't it? But it's beautiful. Here it is, November the 14th, and Alexa, weather. Alexa, weather.
Currently, in Lakeland, it's 64 degrees Fahrenheit with mostly cloudy skies. Today, you can expect partly sunny weather with a high of 78 degrees and a low of 64 degrees.
I hope you can hear Alexa giving the weather report. But
right now in Lakeland, it's 64 degrees Fahrenheit with mostly cloudy skies. Today's forecast has partly sunny weather with a high of 78 degrees and a low of 64 degrees. Would you also like the current humidity?
Yes.
Right now, the humidity is 73%.
Okay. So anyway, it's nice down here. And I'm retired. I retired in 2005. I was only able to do that because being a veteran, I get health care from the VA. Otherwise, unless you're uber rich, it's really impossible to retire before you hit Medicare age 65. Because I don't even want to get started on the healthcare system in the U.S. Of the G7, we have the worst healthcare and the highest cost by far. Only Germany comes even remotely close to the cost of healthcare we have here. And the people who profit from our healthcare system are the insurance companies. Anyway, enough of that rant. I can't do anything about that. Unfortunately, I got the VA, which I get excellent care from the VA, and for me, I have zero cost on that, and all my meds and everything's provided 100%. But that's because of service-connected issues. This is going to go into the miscellaneous ramble category, I guess. When I first moved to Lakeland, I hated it because there's only two north-south highways. And they can be a nightmare during rush hour. And to make matters worse, I started calling them idiots. I don't want to be that negative. The thoughtless people, local politicians, elected to close off two of the lanes that want to go downtown and put concrete islands there. So now you only got two lanes through the city, whereas before you had four. So that pushed a lot of that traffic off to the other main thoroughfare. Anyway, fortunately, this is an interesting town. Publix grocery chain was founded here, and headquarters is here in Lakeland. So they're the biggest employer. We have some, I don't know how much agriculture fits in terms of the gross product of the county. This is a big area for strawberries. I mean, hundreds of acres sown in strawberries. They do very well in this climate. Beyond that, it's a little of this and that. The tax system here favors, of course, agricultural zoning. So a lot of people have bought large tracts of land, and they do some kind of farming enough to qualify for the zoning benefit. So we have a lot of people raising cattle and stuff like that. But that doesn't really affect my living conditions whatsoever. Anyway, that's enough about Lakeland. It's a great place to retire. In fact, I guess probably half or more of the economy here is based on gray-headed folks like me spending our retirement money here. The state of Florida too is excellent. Has an excellent children and family services department. Unfortunately, I got to see their work firsthand. I say unfortunately because basically you've got to be in really serious condition, and you got to be below a certain poverty level. I mean, a certain income level. So when my wife developed Alzheimer's, and that was about a 6-year illness before she passed away, nearly 4 years ago. When she got really bad, about 2 years before she died, I was trying to care for her and did care for her at home up until the week before she passed away. And the painful thing was I had to go through a legal process of where financially we were divorced. That was heart-wrenching enough, although it was necessary in order, because I simply had too much money to otherwise qualify, but not enough money to pay for that care on my own. See, that's the problem with our system. The middle class really gets hammered in both directions. Anyway, so that worked out very well. I mean, it was just barely enough to keep me from dying trying to care for her, but because they provided at one time 27 days of one shift coverage. It's a long way from the 140 hours I had to spend myself to care for her, but that 27 hours probably saved my life and enabled me to keep her at home. If anybody has ever had a family member or a relative who's succumb to that disease, you know exactly what I'm talking about. It's hard to describe it. To see somebody that I was married 49 years when she passed away, and to see somebody just literally disappear before your eyes. Plus, in the end, having to provide palliative care. So it's often said that Alzheimer's and dementia impact the relatives as much as it does the victim. So in a way, we're all victims of that. So at any rate, I don't mean to be depressing about that, but in one of my videos, I mentioned in return on my selling covered options contracts playlist about cash flow and income stream. But trust me, if you have a long-term illness in the family, you never have too much money. You never have enough money. I guess you could have enough, but never, I don't know. That's way out of my league. Never had anything that would approach what it would really taken to have given her the care she really deserved. So anyway, today is Monday, so I've got orders placed to sell options contracts. Therefore, Monday is always my payday. So the market opens in less than 15 minutes. So I'm going to have to cut this here and pay attention to the market, see if my orders get filled. And I got videos to do on that and a newsletter to do on that. So I'll be tied up for a while. And after the market stuff is done today, I'm going to go out and paint my driveway. In this little retirement community, they want everybody to live in a little house with picket fences. And, I live alone, so inside my house is the ultimate man cave. I have no sense of style whatsoever when it comes to clothing or house or the interior of the house. My wife always took care of both of those things, or forced me to. Now I don't have that engine of must do. All right, well, I'm going to cut this off right now. And if you'd like my channel, any one of the streams, playlist, please hit subscribe. And if you like it, hit like and notify. I'd appreciate it. All righty, have a good day. You know, retirement is fine if your health's good. But what I miss most is when I started a project that when I was 20 years younger would have been a snap, and now becomes a project I'm not sure I can finish. I'll certainly have to take some long rest breaks. But anyway, I'm trying to paint my driveway so it looks better. I'm trying to keep the neighbors happy, so they don't complain about my welding project, my welding shop that I got behind the barricade. But I do miss the physical abilities that comes with being younger. But I'm alive and relatively healthy. I'm diabetic, so I take insulin shots 2 or 3 times a day. And when I have pains from the neuropathy, I take gabapentin. And that doesn't deal with the pain directly. It just messes with your mind. So it sort of numbs the pain, but it leaves you in a little bit of a fog. Certainly, I think slower. Doesn't mean the outcome's wrong, but it does mean it takes me a little longer to get to that outcome. But the main thing is it impacts my balance. So I got a long pole attachment for my paint roller. And this is what gets me about things. They claim they'll fit things like mops and stuff like that, and they won't fit a damn thing. If they had just tapered the thread, I mean, how difficult could that be? Then you could start it in any of those and then tighten it up, but they didn't do that. So what would have otherwise been a great product is really trash because of the poor engineering. So I'm trying to hold it together with super glue, string, and baking soda. And I got almost done with the first pint or first quart of paint before it gave way. I'm going to have to stick it together again because I cannot stoop over and do that with just a short handle that's on the paint roller. I'll end up falling in the paint or worse. So anyway, that's what I'm doing today, and it's not fun.